It is 7 p.m. here in the Chinese capital. Thank you for joining us. Our top story at this hour. Visiting Chinese President Xi Jinping has delivered a keynote speech at the National Congress of Brazil. President Xi praised the time-honored friendship between China and Brazil. He looked back at the history of exchanges between the two peoples and pledged deeper cooperation across all areas. Xi Jinping said China and Brazil see each other as important partners, and the continuous development of bilateral ties is a model for South-South cooperation. He expressed the need for the two sides to steadily increase strategic mutual trust and continue to understand and support each other on major issues bearing on respective core interests. The president called for both sides to speed up the implementation of the China-Brazil 10-year cooperative plan and expand strategic complementarity. Xi Jinping said that China and Brazil should continue to promote people-to-people exchanges and facilitate communication between the younger generations of each country. Ahead of the speech, Xi Jinping held talks with the Brazilian Senate President René Calheiro and the Chamber of Deputies President Enrique Eduardo Alves. Also on Wednesday, Xi visited a photo exhibit depicting China-Brazil in the past 40 years. Chinese President Xi Jinping has met with the presidents from Peru, Costa Rica, Chile, Bolivia, and Ecuador in Brasilia, while he is on his state visit to Brazil. President Xi said that he hoped that cooperation could be strengthened in infrastructure, mining, and energy sectors while he met with the Peruvian President Ollanta Humala. Xi said that both China and Costa Rica should strengthen cooperation in major international and regional issues while he met with the President Luis Guillermo Solis. President Xi also said that China and Chile will diversify trade while meeting with the President Michelle Bachelet. China and Bolivia will strengthen communication in terms of culture and people-to-people exchanges. President Xi made that remark while meeting with the Bolivian President Evo Morales. And President Xi also said that Ecuador was an important partner of China in terms of energy cooperation, and both should strengthen that cooperation. That was when he was speaking with Rafael Correa. Chinese President Xi has finished talks at the BRICS summit in Brazil's city of Fortaleza and is, of course, in the capital Brasilia now, where he met with Peru's president. President Xi announced that Chile, Brazil, and Peru are planning a railway to connect the Atlantic and the Pacific in South America. Earlier in Fortaleza, in dialogue between BRICS countries, leaders, and presidents from 11 South American nations, the Chinese president said BRICS and South American countries constitute the rising powers in the international structure, and all parties should jointly push the international order toward a fairer and more rational direction. Brazil is the first leg of Xi Jinping's Latin American tour. He will also visit Argentina, Venezuela, and Cuba. Now, President Xi has also sat down separately with the presidents of Peru, China, Costa Rica, Chile, Bolivia, and Ecuador in Brasilia. He talked about closer ties and stronger cooperation with all of those nations.
Noting the lifting of bilateral ties to a comprehensive strategic partnership with Peru last year, President Xi Jinping told Peru President Ollanta Humala that he believes the two countries' relations have demonstrated remarkable progress in various fields. President Xi said China hopes to carry forward high-level exchanges and cooperation with the Peruvian legislature and political parties. He proposed stronger cooperation in energy, mining, agriculture, and infrastructure construction. In terms of the potential Chinese construction of a railway connecting the Atlantic and Pacific via Brazil and Peru, he suggested China and the two countries form a working group for joint planning, design, construction, and operation. When meeting with President Luis Guillermo Solis of Costa Rica, President Xi said bilateral ties are developing robustly, stressing the importance of deeper political mutual trust and reciprocal cooperation. The Chinese president also said the two should strengthen exchanges among the two governments and legislatures and continue mutual support on major issues concerning each other's core interests. Xi suggested the two sides optimize trade structure and step up cooperation in infrastructure construction, agriculture, and clean energy. While talking to President Michelle Bachelet of Chile, President Xi said China and Chile enjoy a promising future as strategic partners. President Xi urged the formation of a China-Chile Intergovernmental Standing Committee. He also asked the two sides to further promote trade and strong cooperation in mining, agriculture, clean energy, finance, and investment. Talking to Bolivian President Evo Morales, President Xi said China and Bolivia should expand cooperation potentials in trade, energy, and mining. When meeting with Ecuador's President Rafael Correa, President Xi said China and Ecuador enjoy a high level of trust with reciprocal advantages. He said Ecuador is an important partner and investment destination in Latin America, and cooperation in various fields has been quite fruitful. President Xi said China supports Ecuador without any political preconditions and will continue to support the country in exploring a new development path.